Let's start by looking at basic definitions. A linear function is roots of zeros that have the value at which a given graph intersects on the x-axis. It's the x-intercept. A quadratic equation is it has a parabolic shape and will be tangent with the x-axis and will have a minimum of two roots. The cubic function will have a cubic shape and will intersect the x-axis with a minimum of three roots. You might be asking, what is multiplicity? The multiplicity is the number of times in a given point. For example, you have x plus 1 wholly squared. The squared, the power 2, is the multiplicity. And this is the polynomial equation. We have 2x cubed plus b of x squared plus c of x plus d. This is the information we need to know to graph the polynomial equation. I have the equation f of x equals to x minus x plus 2 times x minus 3 squared times x minus 1 cube. Now, imagine if we have this equation equals to 0. We'll have to solve each part alone. We'll have x plus 2 equals to 0. X plus 2, we subtract 2 on both sides, and we'll have the first x-intercept, which is 2 and 0. The second intersect will have x minus 3 wholly squared equals to 0. We square root on both sides, take away the 2, we'll have x minus 3 equals to 0. We add 3 on both sides, we'll have x equals to 3, and this is our second x-intercept. Now we have the final one, which is x minus 1 cubed equals to 0. We cube root this, and we'll have x minus 1 equals to 0. We add 1 on both sides, and we'll have x equals to 1, which is our third x-intercept. Now that we have the three x-intercepts, we can now graph the polynomial equation. Now we have this graph and we have these x-intercepts. Now we need to graph them. The first one, if I may look again, we have x plus 2 equals to 0, which is negative 2 and 0. X plus 2 equals to 0 is a linear graph, which means it's going to intersect at negative 2 and 0, like this. I'm going to use the black color for graphing the first one. It will be a straight line since it has no power and it's a linear equation. So negative 2 and 0, I'm going to make a straight line like this that intersects at 2, negative 2. I'm sorry, again. No. Like this, it's one straight line, and then I'm going to use the blue to do the x minus 3 wholly squared. And I'm going to do the cubic function first because it intersects at the 1, which means it's going to be first. And we know it's a cubic function, which means it's going to take a cubic shape. So then I'll do like this. I'll do like this, and then it will make a cubic function shape like this. And then I'm going to draw it again because it wasn't that precise. will be like this and like this. Here's the cubic function shape. And then I'm going to use the blue so I could do the parabola. And the parabola intersects at 3. And we know that when we have a squared function, it's going to have a tangent on the x-axis, which means when we graph it, it will be like this. It won't intersect, but it will have a tangent. This here intersects, and this here intersects. And this is how we graph a polynomial equation.